Hello everybody, let me see if I can pull myself up. Okay, here I go. Alright, there. Let's get me shared. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Let me get myself into the group. Okay. Alright, welcome in everybody. Hopefully y'all can see me. And you can hear me. Sounds like I have sound and all the things. So welcome. I'm actually hopping on early to try to help fill the gap a little bit. So hopefully we'll get everybody in here. So I'm in Dusty Granny event group. So she has started a side event, and it's called Handmade Joy in His Holy Light. And today's event, we do a devotional and we craft. So hopefully, hi there, Miss Teresa. Hopefully y'all can join me. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. So, for today's lineup, up after me is going to be Miss Carla from Carla's Cayoun Creations. So definitely stick around to see what she will be doing. And then Miss Teresa will be on at 8. And closing us out will be our hostess, Miss Wendy from Dusty Granny's Crafts by Wendy. So, thank you so much for popping in, guys. I'm doing alright. I don't know. We'll see. I think I might have a little bit of a UTI. But I normally have them all the time, and now it's well, usually when it starts to bother me, then it's a problem. And hubby's alright. So yeah. So I'm gonna read from a little journal devotional that I have, and we're gonna read what it is for today. So hopefully this will reach someone and find you where you're at. So we're gonna start with a quick prayer. So Lord, guide our hearts and ears and eyes to listen to you and hear your word, and to see all the beauty that you have created around us. Help us to be more awakened to all the things that you are constantly doing for us, even when it appears that things are hard. You're still there with us, Lord. Open our minds now to, and our hearts to receive your word and your lesson for today. In your precious name we pray. Amen. Hey there, Miss Patty. How are you doing? So, there's a few groups that I'm in where we do a prayer and a devotional, and then we craft. And today is one of them. So I'm going to read a little bit here, and then we're going to get crafting. And like I said, I am on a little early. I'm trying to help fill a bit of a gap. So thank you guys for popping on. I really, truly do appreciate you. So let's read. It says, whatever I do, things great or small, whatever I speak or frame, thy glory may I seek in all. Do all in Jesus' name, my Father. For his sake I pray. Thy child accept and bless, and lead me by thy grace today in paths of righteousness. Amen. Our Bible verse comes from Luke 6:31. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. And then we go into I'm there. I'm here. Body it's doing its thing, but the Lord is good. He's always good. I came to a deep reckoning that, as much as I may hurt and as much as I may be going through stuff, there's always going to be somebody that is worse than me, and I need to be grateful. And honestly, having pain, feeling things, just means I'm alive, and that in itself is a blessing. We tend to take way too much for granted waking up every day. Like earlier I laid down for a nap. I usually take a nap in the daytime. If I don't, it really does mess with me. And when I wake up, just waking up even from a nap, because you could lay down for a 30-minute nap, hour nap, 2-hour nap, whatever, and not wake up. Like, there's people that rest their head or close their eyes and don't wake up. You could be riding the bus or the subway or something and just like nod off and not wake up again. So the fact that we get to wake up every day, is a blessing that is given to us. It's a gift that is given to us by our Father, every day. The fact that you can feel, whether it's good or bad, I see it as a reminder that we are still here. And again, that to me is a blessing. Yeah, it sucks when your body aches so much that you have to lay down, or to see those that you love in pain. But at the same time, like I said, to me it's just a reminder I'm still here. I still get to see my kids every day, or hear from them, especially when they were little. So I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful even for the pain. I'm not gonna not say that I don't complain. I'm not gonna not say that I don't say it sucks, but I'm grateful for it, because it means I'm still here. Because if I'm not hurting, that means that I'm in heaven. And then that means that those that I've left behind are hurting because I'm no longer there. So I would rather be physically hurting. I know that eventually that day will come, but for now, I would rather, just, I don't know, it's just my point of view, I guess. Let's keep on reading. It says, yesterday I got into a car accident. It was my fault. I was in a hurry and tried to cross an intersection just as yellow turned to red. But I felt defensive and berated the driver whose car I had clipped. I was embarrassed when the driver met my blushed with calm and grace. Later, after I had regained my composure, it all struck me how much I appreciated being spoken to respectfully, though I myself had been less than gracious. The other driver's consideration made an impression, and when I told my wife about it, she smiled gently and observed, "That guy was probably just treating you the way he wished you'd treat him." God reminded me that we should treat others as I want them to treat me. Of course, dear. You're quite welcome, Miss Wendy. So, yes. We do want to treat others the way we want to be treated. You know, and with love and respect and grace, because He gives us that. God is constantly giving us love and grace. And, He respects our decisions. When we decide to be stubborn and hard-headed and do our own thing, He respects that, right? He gives us free will. Now, that we make the right decisions with that is a whole nother story. But, He gives us that grace and, to make those mistakes, to fall and to flunder and to come up. So, just because we accept Christ and we know He has saved us from our sins, we don't automatically become perfect. Because, for one, we never will be. Because He is the only perfect one. We are human, and human by nature, we are going to default to do stupid stuff and be selfish and all these things. But that is why we are told time and time again that we need to deny that human side of us to try to be more Christ-like. And I know it's hard. I know I struggle with it, but as Luke says, treating others the way we want to be treated. The Bible talks about, treating your wife the way Christ treats the church. Do unto others what you would want them to do to you. Hey there, Miss Chandra, how are you doing, dear? Yes, weekend blessings to you too, my dear. So, having that grace, even, like in this case, the gentleman got into an accident, and all of a sudden he wants to be defensive, right? Because that's the nature side of us. Like, we want to put up our guard and we want to be defensive. And even though the other person knew that was the other, this gentleman's fault, he was still kind to him. He was still gracious to him. Still spoke softly and, wasn't prone to anger. And as we know in the Bible, it says, we are prone to anger. And, the thing about it is that if you harbor anger and hatred in your heart, you've already committed, one of the 10 commandments. It says that thou shalt not kill. And Christ went as far as to tell us that, if we hate our brethren, that we have already murdered in our heart. So it is so important to try to keep those human reactions and try to control them, but we can't do it under our own strength. So we have to give it to God, and it's a daily thing, and it's not just once a day. Like, we have to do it multiple times a day and try to keep ourselves in check. So, I know it's hard. I mean, I know it's hard because I struggle. I struggle with always being gracious, you know, because many times my gracious and kindness has been seen as weakness, or as an opportunity for people to walk over me or to mistreat me. And then it's like, geez, Lord, you know, here I am trying to be, you know, a good person, and, you know, I'm just being mistreated. And then you hear the still small voice that tells you, you know, he's got it, but to keep on doing what's right, you know. So, you know, there will always, God's justice will come. We may not see it today, tomorrow, or even in our lifetime, but his justice will be there. He is the ultimate judge. So, you know, I don't want to be judged on earth nor in heaven. And so I'm going to do my best. Now, I know that I'm not perfect, so his blood is going to cover me. And when I do stand in front of the Father for judgment, you know, his blood will cover me for those sins that I have done. As long as, you know, we are actively trying to be better. Like, I have an issue with Christians or people of any type of faith that are like, you know, well, I'll just go say a prayer afterwards and I'll be fine. And then they keep on doing it. No, you need to try to change that. You know, you need to try to change and not be that same, you know, and do the same thing over and over again. So, we're going to work on a bit of a book plate today. So, I'm going to turn you guys down. And we're going to work with watercolors. Now, I am no watercolor artist. I'm going to tell you that right now before we even start, okay? But we're going to play. Right? We're going to play. I'm no artist. I got my little water here and all that. Hey, my sweet Carla. Hi, dear. I popped on a little early to help cover the gap, so I just got done with our devotional and our prayer and chit-chatting, but we'll continue to chit-chat. And this is, so all I have here is a piece of craft cardstock, and I have a hymnal page, and I picked Heaven is Waiting, because right now I know that in our own lives and in our craft community, we're hurting because a lot of our friends are hurting themselves. We've had friends that have passed, but we need to always remember that, you know, if we believe in Christ and we have given our hearts to him, you know, we have the faith that we're going to see our loved ones again in heaven, you know. So that is my strong belief, and that is why I believe that this was what I needed to work with today, because heaven is waiting for us, right? Heaven is waiting for me. What a great morning that will be. When I see Jesus on that shore, all of my sorrows will be over. Heaven is awaiting. Glory, hallelujah. Heaven is awaiting. Soon I'll be leaving for my new home. Soon I'll be crossing over the foam. Heavenly joy will thrill my soul. There in that land I'll not grow old. Heaven is awaiting. Glory, hallelujah. Heaven is awaiting. So I really, when I was looking through the hymnals, it's kind of like when I'm looking through my Bible and I ask God to bring something that will speak to me. And you know, yes, there were several that were, but then this one, and I kept on coming back to it. So I'm like, okay, God, I guess you're telling me this is the one we're going to work with. So this is what we're working with, because we have that blessed assurance that we will be seeing the ones we love again in heaven. So that's what we're going to work with, my friends. Yes, ma'am, I did come on early. And I know you're up after me, so that's exciting. So I do have a watercolor palette thing here, and we'll be using some of that. And I'm going to try to like do some sky and some green pastures at the bottom. But for now, let's attach our page on here. I like the one in the back also, Peace Like a River. That's a good one too. Now this is an older hymnal, but it's not what I would consider a vintage hymnal. I have some that are so old that they are like falling apart. Like the pages, you have to be so careful because they're like so delicate that they're, you know, crispy. Yeah, I was actually cutting up lace. Oops. It's actually cutting lace for the kids, because they'll be going out soon for the retreat, at least the ones that I'm mailing. I don't understand why this is not wanting to roll. There's still a whole thing there. I don't know what you're doing, but okay. We're gonna grab our glue stick and we're gonna use it because the tape is being special. But yeah, I woke up from my nap, and after cutting Caroline's hair, I started cutting lace for the kids, and I started looking, and I'm like, why is nobody on for the event? And so I popped over to the chat, and that's when I saw that we had a break. So I was like, oh, I can gather myself together and hop on, so there's not too much of a break, you know. Try to get this somewhat straight. Hi there, Miss Deb. Hello, friend. Welcome. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. I know it's on a Friday night. While I was cutting Caroline's hair and then working on the kids, Gare was making dinner, so I'm excited for that. He made mac and cheese. Well, he made a chili mac, so it's mac and cheese and chili mixed together. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that everything is down. That's what and usually the corners I tend to have issues with, so I'm just going to reinforce it with a little bit of my wet glue. So how's everyone doing? Y'all have any weekend plans? We don't really have any weekend plans other than getting Caroline to work. And I'm in events all weekend, so I'll see you guys again both Saturday and Sunday. This has been a full week for me. I think the only day I didn't come on was Wednesday. I was gonna come on Wednesday and then didn't. Okay, so again, this is just craft paper, nothing, you know, like super crazy or anything like that. Just enough to give my my hymnal page some stability, because you know usually book pages tend to be a little bit on the thin side, and because I want to watercolor it, I do need it to have some kind of substance. Nothing major going on. Yeah, my biggest thing is getting all these kits done. Gare got all of the chipboard cut with the laser, so I'm just getting everything else together and getting everything ready to ship out. I'm super excited. Hey, Miss Beatrice. Hello, hello. Okay. So I have an idea in my head that because it says heaven is awaiting, right? I do want to have like a light blue on the background. He is very useful. He is very useful. I love him. You know that. Yeah, he's been trying to cook, and he's been cleaning and trying to tidy up where he can, because you know most of the house is filled with all my junk, so it's a mess anyways. We have, like I said, we have all of this is gonna be like a light blue, and then maybe we'll bring in some white for like clouds, and then I kind of want to do like just some greenery. I think that'll be good. So I am using a round tip, which is many times what is used around, you know, it's completely round. And I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of this blue. Let's see if we can because I don't want to go too much, because I still want to be able to see the hymnal. Okay, I'm literally, think of it like you're kind of tinting the page with your watercolor. Okay, I'm sure you could do this probably with like pastels. I just wanted to, honestly, I just wanted to play with watercolors because I don't play with them enough. Now, because we are putting something that has so much water, okay, expect this to curl. Alright, I'm expecting it to curl. Like, if it didn't curl, I would think, you know, because this is not watercolor level paper. This is just thin cardstock and book page, okay? Now, I'm sure that if you work with watercolors and you are a true watercolor artist, you're probably yelling at me for doing something wrong. And I probably am. Like I said, I don't work with watercolors. But I wanted to play with them today. I thought that a watercolor would be the better option for this creation here, right? So I don't know if you guys can see there. Hi there, Miss Lori. How are you, my friend? So you can see how the page is starting to curl up from where the water is. That's okay. It's okay. It'll be alright. Because remember, either this is going to become a book plate, like a journal plate, so you're going to glue it on top, or you would insert this on a page inside of a journal. So again, it would still have that stability. Hey, Titis. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, turn around. Let me see the back. Alright, what do you think? Is that a good length for you? Yeah. Okay. It looks good. Okay. Thank you for releasing the butterflies. I appreciate that. I really, really do. Okay, now let me get a paper towel here. Y'all, I am no hairstylist or anything like that. Caroline's gotten into where she'll watch videos, like tutorials, and will be like, Mama, can you cut my hair? And we'll follow the video. And I think it looks good on her. Oh, you sprinkled? Well, thank you for letting me know that you sprinkled, dear. Thank you, everybody, for popping in. I do appreciate it. Like I said, I know it's a Friday night, and some may have... Yeah, do your pre-live stuff, friend. You got to. I got it. I got you. I understand. Alright, so I want some green on here. And that way we'll give this some time, and then we'll come back and do some... And then we'll come back and do the, Okay, now I do not like... That's a little too light of a color. If that makes any sense. So let's see if we can maybe mix in... Like I said, I don't know what I'm no expert, so I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing, y'all. Just playing, that's all. So I'm just gathering water from the darker green and the lighter green in hopes that I can make a hue that I like. I want to take some of it off. I think it's too strong compared to the blue. So I'm just dabbing it off. I don't know, has anybody else ever played around with watercolors? If you guys have any tips, hey, I'm all ears, okay? Because like I said, I only had like a bit of an idea of what I wanted to do, but I mean, I think it looks good. That you know, that is what I'm doing. I'm just playing with it because, well, I'm trying to make a background is what I'm trying to do, right? Alright, let's try to dry this a little bit so that I can start bringing in some white. Hi there, Miss Lisa. Hello, hello. Alright, and when I dried this, I noticed that we don't have glue in some parts, so we're going to add some glue. Thank you for popping on. I appreciate it. Miss Lisa was actually on earlier. So if you guys have missed any of our presenters today, please go back and give them a replay. And you can find everybody in the Dusty Grannies event group. So this event is hosted by Wendy from Dusty Granny event groups, and it is Handmade Joy in His Holy Light, and it is a faith-based event, and it is a great way to connect with other believers who also are crafty. You know, the Lord has people in all walks of life. So, you know, we're never alone. He's always with us, but he also has a very big family. We just have to find them. Oh, thank you. It's from King's Art, and I found it one time at TJ Maxx. I know sometimes you can find this brand also at if you guys have like a Ross. Let's see if I can get any white in here. I don't know. I don't know that you really notice the white. And I've worked, I have this watercolor palette. I have some alcohol markers from this brand. It's actually a really decent brand. I've gotten stuff for my son, the one that's the artist, from this brand, and he's liked it. And for anybody who doesn't know, he's also my boy who decided, instead of going to art school, to join the Navy. You can kind of see some of it. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else can see it or not. But I really liked our little devotional, you know, learning to treat others with the same amount of kindness and respect that we want to be treated with, you know, is very important. You know, there's not enough kindness in this world. And it's sad because God calls us to be kind to everyone, you know? Look, whether they believe or not, you still need to love them and you still need to be kind to them. Because how else are we going to get people to come to the Lord if, you know, we're not kind? Like, my dad would always say that you can attract a bear with honey, not with the bees. And it's right. I mean, you know, I know he would say that in terms of trying to teach me and my brother to, you know, to be kind to others. And honestly, many times we don't understand those life lessons that our parents are trying to teach us until we're older. And then here we are trying to teach them to our kids, you know. So but it totally makes sense now. Like, you know, having sweet words, being kind, you know, will really make a difference on how people react to you. It really, really will. So, you know, just try to remember that the next time, you know, somebody is mean to you and you're, you know, our natural state wants to bark back at them. And, you know, there was this whole movement, I know, in the 90s when I was a teen, of, you know, what would Jesus do? And we still need to think that way. What would he do? You know? Would he bark back at them? Would he yell at them? I would say no. Put that down there. I'm gonna dry it again. So I came in with the darker green and kind of just did a little bit of like hills or something. I mean, you could even do something like this and frame it. You don't necessarily have to use it for a journal. It's just, you know, y'all know me. That's kind of where I go with stuff. But you don't have to do that. I mean, you can seriously do what will... Because, like, this would be cute in a frame, right? Alright, now I'm going to grab... Let me test these on a piece of paper right quick. Alright, since we're kind of going with like trying to do stuff in a softer color, I'm going to use the gray instead of the black to make like little birds that are flying in here. And this is why you want this to be dry. You can use a Sharpie. These are just a felt fine tip permanent pen. And there's no rhyme or reason to where I'm putting them. Just trying to give us some birdies. And do some bigger ones, some smaller ones. Okay. And then in here at the bottom, I'm going to use a combination of brush tip and the felt tips, and we're going to, I just need to find and see if this will be too green. No, that'll be perfect. I'm going to make a little bit of grass, little patches of grass, and I'll have some little, I'll make us some little flowers here. Okay, now I'm going to bring in a thin one. I'm pretty excited. Next weekend, I'm going to be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm going to be working at our local stamp and scrapbook expo. So I'm excited about that. So I'm just going to come in and give me some thinner lines. So I don't know if you guys can see. Alright, so with the brush tip I did the mane, and now I'm coming back and I'm doing like thin lines, and that's where I'm going to do some little flowers, okay? So, no rhyme or reason, just every so often put a line in. No, it's been a while since I've like worked and been on my feet for long periods, so it's definitely going to be a challenge, but hope that way I can help gear out a little bit with the bills and stuff. Alright, now let's see which colors I want to grab. I just noticed that you guys are not really looking at much, so let's see if that'll fix it. If that made it any better, or if it made it any worse. So I want my color to come from the florals that we'll be making. Okay. So these are brush tips, so I am literally just putting the brush tip down and kind of like going in a circle. So hopefully that makes sense, what I'm doing right there. You see that? Again, nothing like it, nothing specific, because you want it to be organic. Okay, you do want this to have more of an organic look to it, and so obviously just laying them down wherever is going to be the best way to make sure that they do come out looking a little more organic. Okay, let's get some pinks in here. I think I do need to see about bringing in some blue, because so far it's a lot of darker colors. Is it blurry again? Okay, what about now? Is it better? A lot of it is from where I try to pick it up. Really, I see, I don't know. we never know with these, with technology, right? It seems to always do whatever it wants to do. I have no clue. Yes, it is very annoying because it's like you trying to make it work and you want people to be able to see, and then it decides to do whatever it wants to do. So what's the weather like for everybody? We've I don't know, here it's been like rain, no rain, rain, no rain, like it I don't know, it cannot make up its mind what it wants to do. Meow. What is it, Luna? No, Luna. It's been raining. You can't go outside. You're gonna get all muddy and dirty. Call IT department. IT is taking a break from cooking. So. Oh my gosh. Yes, that humidity is definitely no fun. Kind of feel like there's gaps right there, so let's fill those in. You know, that's been the biggest issue, is like with all the rain and everything, is that it just drives the humidity up through the roof. It is so annoying. Hey, Miss Lisa. How are you, my dear? It's 80. 80's not bad. I think that's about what we were. But again, we've got rain, so it's hot but thundering. See, it was hot and thundering, and then it did rain here. Like, rain. Let me see if we even noticed this yellow. I don't know, but I'm still doing it. I'll know it's there. You know what? Maybe I need to do it with, not with this one, but I don't know, maybe we'll send you our rain. Or maybe you sent us your rain, and that's why it's raining over here. Did you send us your rain? Well, evidently I ain't got no yellow, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna have to do yellow with this one then. I think Caroline's washing her clothes because the machine just went off. Did y'all hear the machine playing its little tune? I found that so funny that the washing machines and dishwashers and everything nowadays, they have they play songs. I find that just so funny. Okay, now where are you? Where, oh where is mine? Do, do, do. Hope you don't hear it. Why? It's supposed to storm here this weekend. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh, well, that's fun. Okay, where are you, book corners? Not the right book corners. I'm looking for some metal pieces, guys. Give me a second. I may not have the ones I'm looking for. And if that's the case, then that's fine. We'll just do something else. That is odd. I thought I had some. Well, I guess I don't have any. The one that used to be the alarm. I mean, it is. This is true. Now that I think about it, you're right, Miss Lisa. Alright, so I was looking for the little metal filigree corners. Evidently I ain't got some. Well, it is large, Miss Lisa. It is not well organized at all. So, that it is not. It is not well organized at all. I like those bronze ones better. So I'm just gonna then, since I don't have corner pieces, we're just gonna put some here on the sides to kind of give it a little something something. Yeah, it is not organized at all. I am not good at organizing. If anybody wants to come help me organize, you know, you are more than welcome to. But no, my house is a whole blam mess. So try to get this glue down. There we go. I know there's some people who love to organize. That is not me. I've never been a big organizer. So, you like them? There's gonna be metal pieces in the kit. There's gonna be lots of metal pieces. Well, not lots, but there's gonna be several metal pieces in that kit that I'm putting together for the thing. So, hey, Miss Glenna! Oh my gosh, I loved your craft, dear. It was so pretty. I am praying for you and your daughter and all of that situation. I've been there, so I understand the fear. Miss Teresa, it is not organized. Do not let the back of me fool you. It is not organized at all. Oh. But somehow in the chaos I still know where most of my stuff is. Or at least the stuff that I use a lot. Alright, I am going to put little holdy thingies, clips on these. I got these at the Dollar Tree. I believe it's a pack of 6 that you get, or 5, something like that. Definitely worth it. They were still $1.25 when I picked up a second pack recently. Some of the basic craft supplies are still $1.25 at my stores, so that's pretty neat. Yeah, I love me any kind of like metal filigrees. They're super fun. And then, like I said, this would be super cool to do something like this. If you have the little metal ones, those would work. You know, the corner ones, those would look really cute. That's what I was looking for, but I didn't have any. So we just pivot and use what we got, right? Because that's what you got to do. You got to use what you got. At least that's what I'm trying to do. And I do want to Alright, so let's put that to the side. I am not sure if I have a frame that would be this size, because it ended up with the board, it ended up being 5.5 by 8.5. So if you were wanting to do if you were wanting to turn this into with a frame, I mean, you could always put a decorative piece of paper on the back if you had a larger frame, and this be the centerpiece to it. Like I said, this is going to very probably end up on, well, this is too skinny, but it will probably end up on the front of a journal for me, because I do like that. So I love making journal toppers, because you never know when you could, you know, use them. So that is what this is right here. And I think I'm just gonna let it dry, because I like it the way it is. I don't want to fool with it anymore. So since we still have some time, I'm just gonna get some of this extra glue out of here, because since we have some extra time, we are going to make some tags, because we can always use some tags. At least I think we can always use some tags. And what size paper is this before I even get started cutting? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like doing journal toppers, because then that way you have them ready to go whenever you put together a journal. And I've made them all kinds of different themes. I wonder if I cut those too big. Yeah, I did. I cut them just a tad bit too big for that. So this was too big for that, which is why it got stuck. Because these papers are too wide. The widest it is made for is a 2-inch, and this is a 3-inch. So we're going to trim this paper down in half. To make 2 skinny ones, so I don't have that problem again. I'm excited to see what my sweet friend Carla is going to be doing for her live later, because she'll be up in the next few minutes, so make sure that you guys stick around. We still have her, we have Miss Teresa, and we have Miss Wendy, who will be presenting. But if you did miss any of today's presenters, please go back, give them a like and a follow, and watch the replays. I promise you, you will not be disappointed, because everybody is very talented. We've had some good word today, and that is always important. And the most important thing is the pressure is on. Why do you say it like that, my dear? You are a very talented creator, my friend. Very, very talented. Do not ever cut yourself down. Let me get a piece of what do I have in here? Get some of this. Use it. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting the two together so they'll lay over each other, and it'll make a layered tag that you can use. Why do you guys say that? Y'all are very talented. You know, God has gifted us each with our own individual blessing of talent, and I'm just very grateful and honored to be part of the community with such amazing creators. And I'm not going to say just ladies, because there are some also very talented men who are crafters as well. And that's the thing, like, we're not... Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. And hopefully, there wasn't too bad of a gap. I wish I had seen it sooner. I would have tried to hop on a little bit more. Okay, so look at that. You know, yes, you can rotate them if you wanted to, or it's just a cute little layered, and it's long enough that it could even be a bookmark. So let me show you. So if I were to take this and put it inside, look at that. It's a cute little bookmark. So I think that is kind of cute in itself right there. A nice little layered bookmark. And then we still have these other two. Let me see. Let's see what we got going on here. We can add her, but I want something in the back, so I'm gonna grab a little bit of some lace or something just to add some contrast in the back here. So please stay and watch the rest of the creators. If you are new, you can see everybody. The link is in my description, but it is Dusty Granny Event Group, and you can see everyone there. So make sure you go and check it out, and that way you can join and have fun. And I'm gonna finish making this tag here because now I'm invested in making this tag. Oh, that's right, I have some of that in here. Okay. So thank you again so very much for coming. Hopefully you guys like the idea of turning a hymnal page into a little work of art, and you could do anything you want. I just wanted the heavens and, you know, some greenery, because it does, you know, talk about, you know, walking in, you know. So thank you again for having me, Miss Wendy, and remember to be kind. Remember that our word was, you know, to do unto others as you want them to do to you. As far as treating them how you want them to be treated, treat them how you want to be treated. Treat them how God would treat you. So, love you guys. Be blessed, my friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys tomorrow and Sunday. I will be live both days. So have a blessed day.